Right, here we go.
Getting ready to start.
Thursday.
Woo!
You made it, Sandra.
Slid right in.
Yeah. Another night with Mr. Pascal. Should be fun.
Just have a pure night of him, probably. Pedro.
He
Yeah,
just seems delightful.
yeah, yeah. He's a heartthrob. He's having a moment. Well, John, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Drawing Hive. If you're new to us, welcome. If not, the people that draw with us all the time, thank you for joining us for doing push-ups and sit-ups. Because we practice a lot. So tonight we are drawing from the reference from the Mandalorian. Season 3 is about to kick off. If it hasn't already, I don't know exactly, but I know its timeline is right there. And then we're doing 3 poses as usual. Our first pose is a 20-minute pose. Pedro Pascal is the first subject. Great photograph of Pedro there. I've drawn him several times in the last 3 or 4 months. Unbelievably great subject to draw. And I really like the lighting on this. I love how simple everything is in the shadows. Second pose. This was a tough one for me. Baby Yoda, that came from Cassandra and Timmy saying we got to do Baby Yoda.
I knew you wouldn't want to. And so I was like, people are gonna have a riot if there's not Baby Yoda.
I am excited to paint Baby Yoda or Grogu,
Well, you can paint Baby Yoda all you want, Cassandra. You can do the same pose all night long if you want. So there's our second 20-minute pose. Our third pose is a 40-minute pose, and you have your choice of Ming Na Wen, and I think maybe a little bit of mistake. She may not be in the third series, but
she's still in the series, so it counts.
Well, there's a lot of talk of her comeback, possibly coming back at the end of the third series. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
Still great pick.
so you have your choice here. You can do this as your 40-minute pose, or you could do Carl Weathers as your 40-minute pose, or you could do both. And Carl Weathers, I mean, the first time I remember Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, and there he is. What is that? 47 or 77 or 78? The original Rocky. Been around a long time. Predator, obviously.
Happy Gilmore.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have your choice on the last 40-minute pose to do either. And then in between poses, if you could post your work to Drawing Hive, we'll go through and take a look at all the work at the end. I'm ready. I started while I was setting up with Timmy, just kind of laying in my first drawing, and I'm ready to go. So Timmy, do you want me to, you just going to steal my, there you go.
There we go. And everybody, I just dropped a link to the photo reference in the chat. If you're new to joining us, I'm also dropping a link to our Discord server. We don't use the chat on Zoom, but if you want to join our community on Discord, hop into our server. You can ask questions there. You can also use the Q&A on Zoom. I'll keep an eye on that as well. I do have some good news, though, for everybody listening. Today, I heard back from Dan Billen at Primary Colors Music, and he is working on our new theme song. And,
Yay!
and I also want to say this. He asked, can you send me an intro of the old song so I have a reference point? I want it to have a new energy to it. And I just spent a lot of time listening to our intros to find one where Dale didn't say something about the intro. So, hopefully Dan's not listening to this. But yeah, he's working on it. I'm very excited about it. I gave him some notes. This is a favor job, so there will be he confirmed that there will be 0 critiques or requests. So if anybody does have an issue with it, well, you're gonna have to get musical and replace it with something else.
So those jobs you do as an artist that are free or that are inexpensive, and you do them because it's a really good opportunity, it's a great project, but you don't accept any art direction. So
that's the exact situation we're in right now.
there you go.
He was, I will say, very flattered that we used his theme song for like 2.5 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he should be. It's a part of us, you know. Sorry, I am totally running late. I'm still putting paint on my palette. For Christmas, I got a new computer, and it doesn't have USB ports now, so I have the dongle for it, and I couldn't find that. So the little port for it.
Doesn't that feel like just such a reverse technology moment where how is it my laptop has become wildly more inconvenient as time has gone on? Like,
yeah, that makes me crazy.
Yeah, like the new Mac laptops, absolute nightmare to set them up with dual monitors.
Yeah, and I have dual monitors, so like I have to have the port to be able to get the other monitor up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was running around just looking for that thing.
Yeah. It's a dumbing down of technology, in my opinion. But yeah, that was yeah. What are you?
There's our Apple sponsorship, but that's okay.
I was just gonna say, I do love the computer. The computer is wonderful. It's just there's a couple things like that where it doesn't simplify things. It's like you can't do anything if you don't have that extra little thing.
Yeah.
Sometime in my life, I'm going to just think back and think, God, if I could have all the money back that I spent with Apple. And I'm totally happy I spent it with Apple because I love the products. But I just, at some point, you want to think about, man, did I double down on that?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about that like high level computing power, you're really gonna get more bang for your buck outside of the Apple world.
Right. But for people like me, ease.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Raymond here, which.
Oh,
did someone say
Raymond,
computers?
I was just gonna say, Raymond, you built a PC, right?
I got mine. I intended on building one, but it was during the chip shortage, so I had to get a pre-built.
Have you ever used Apple products? I mean,
My God, I'm what you call a fanatic, probably. I'm a huge fan. Oh yeah.
Was it a big leap for you when you jump? How long ago did you jump to PC?
Last year.
Oh, really?
Maybe last year or 2 years ago.
You just wanted the power?
So I was getting into I'm getting into 3D, and at the time just say, well, it's still the case. Everything is written for Windows and NVIDIA graphics cards, so everything's optimized for that. So me spending the same amount of money, I'm not going to get nearly anything close to what I can get now. I mean, there are a lot of drawbacks to that, but
what is
yeah,
the biggest
so
drawback?
Customer service for one. I mean, I think Apple's like, if you have an issue with your stuff, you call them up, you get Apple Pay, Apple, the warranty, Apple Care, and you're good to go. Like they'll do whatever, even if you have like a computer that's a lemon, they'll end up either replacing it. I mean, they're really great about that, you know, whereas other places it's not. It's like, oh, you get a year of like, we'll replace it if you don't open up the box, or you have to pay for shipping, you know.
You know what? I
Like all
had,
these headaches, you know.
this is probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I had an amazing Apple Store experience where my phone like was no longer on Apple Care. It was completely smashed. It was just smashed to bits. I'd broken it so many times, and I brought it in just hoping that I would be able to still make calls with it. Like it was just, the screen was just like not reacting. It was trash, but it was still powered up. And this poor guy working at the Genius bar goes, "Have you tried restarting it?" And I was like, "No, actually." And he goes, "Here." And I handed it to him, and he tried to restart it and it wouldn't turn back on. And because that happened in his hands, he was like, when the second it wouldn't turn back on, he just goes, "Damn it." And he had to give me a brand new phone. It was
Wow.
yeah. If the phone breaks in their care, it's like, I mean, it kind of makes sense. He was really nice about it. I didn't like pressure him for it. He just was like, "I have to give you a phone now." It was
Oh,
pretty
so
good.
you
It was pretty awesome.
that
Wow.
okay. The next time that
Yeah,
happens, we're
it
going
had
to
like
Vegas.
water damage, like yeah.
We're going to Vegas next time that happens because we're gonna ride that luck streak.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
I
I
mean,
needed
Wow.
you when my girls were babies. They used my phone for teething when I wasn't looking, and they killed the speaker and the microphone in it with their saliva. So my phone just died a horrible death when they were babies, and I needed a new one quick.
Oh my God. That's the worst. When you don't have, when you need one and you need one now, you know,
Yeah,
because then you're
yeah.
like at the whims of whatever refresh cycle. Like they could be coming out with like something new, brand new and twice as fast next month, but you
Yeah.
need it now. So you got to buy the one that's, you know, that's available.
is everybody using the same materials as usual this week?
I am, but I'm using a slightly different paper. It's got a little texture to it.
That's Bill Kobe.
Yeah, I
didn't know you were into that.
Hey, Bill. Hey, I was just listening to the Apple stories and
Yeah. I'm a super fan. I'm like, I spend my time listening to Apple podcasts, like people just talking about Apple products. I mean, like, you know, so well, why did we end up talking about this? I came in.
Cassandra
what
had mentioned
caused
the dongle situation with her new Mac laptop.
situation.
Oh, Cassandra. Well, which one did you get?
My husband got it for me, so it's real pretty and gray. And
She
it
got the
works.
gray one. She got the gray
Maybe-
one.
Gray computer? Oh my God.
It's got a, it's gray with a big apple on front. It's awesome.
I drive so many old cars, and every time anybody who knows anything about cars, they ask me about like what's under the hood. I'll just be like, no matter what they ask me, I'll just say, yeah, it's that.
I'm the worst person to talk about technology, and I have like, my husband is so apt, and he'll like slow down and explain it all to me, but I he told me and I forgot, but it's real nice.
Okay,
It's got a beautiful
well,
screen.
you know
It's
what's-
got that night screen where you can, like, it's better than the TV with the contrast of black that it can handle.
Yeah.
I can, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
it's an OLED screen. Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
OLED
yeah.
promotion screen. So you got a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air? Sounds like you got a
Pro.
Pro.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a Pro.
Okay, so that thing could do 120 frames a second down to like 1. It's got like a certain type of OLED panel that allows it to do that, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There you go. You see, you did the yes that Timmy
Yeah, that's right.
recommend-
Exactly. Well, I'm in that boat with Timmy. So I want to be able to talk savvier, but if you want to talk about paintbrushes and paint, I'm your girl, but this is stuff
well
where
the
it works beautifully.
well
Yeah,
the
Cassandra,
E-man,
you
so
want to talk varnish?
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
Sorry,
I
Renee.
totally
The
did
E-man.
it. I totally
No,
did
no.
a
I
dissertation
was gonna say
about
your
varnish
husband,
today.
your husband you know, I was like, of course, like the next step for you is just to put on E-man and just, you
Yeah,
know,
I know. I
and then
was about
we'll
to
just,
call him
I'll
up.
just interview him the whole rest of the podcast, you know.
Yeah, he's so much better to talk about all of that than I am.
Now, Cassandra, did you finish your painting?
No, it's gonna take weeks. But I
Oh, the
feel
large
like
one.
Oh, the pandas are done. I'm working on a meerkat family, and I don't think I'll ever. It feels like it'll never be done.
Oh.
But it's getting better.
Yeah.
That's good. It looked good. I mean, when you showed the video that you showed, that looked great.
Thanks. Feel a bit more
What
confident.
what are some of the struggles or hurdles you've been running into with that, Cassandra?
So I thought like I'm in a show where they were asking for some bigger pieces. So I've had this idea of wanting to do animal family portraits. And I think I went a bit much, but I decided to do like meerkats, like six member family of meerkats, full bodied in Regency wear. And I'm just finding it very challenging with like an area where like you all are way more proficient. I just haven't done a lot of landscapes in a while, and there's a lot of landscape in it. It's just a lot more than in that area that I'm comfortable. So it's just been very challenging that way. Just trying to get their anatomy right with like satin and puff sleeves, and they're on stairs, stuff like that.
It's one of your simpler pieces.
Yeah.
Now, when you do these pieces, when you talk about getting their anatomy, are your animals sort of hybrid, their bodies, are they sort of hybrid animal human-ish?
Yeah, I'll adapt some things to make it work, but I try the best. Like with this one, actually, it's pretty dot on to the meerkat anatomy because they're really good at being upright, so I'm not having to adapt it much. But you know, if I'm doing like a deer or a giraffe, like I do have to kind of adapt their anatomy so that they can be more seated upright and have their arms. I'll shift where their shoulders are a little bit, but I'm trying to maintain as much of the regular anatomy as I can.
Right.
For anybody wondering, I'm gonna go ahead and share a little clip. Is this one of the pieces?
Yeah, that's the panda piece that I finished a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
I love your overalls, by the way.
I live in them. It's so much easier.
I've been really considering
You should do it. It's so much better.
switching full time.
I highly recommend it.
So this is just the process. This doesn't end with the finished.
Right. So this is the one I'm currently working on, just trying to flesh out all 6 family members.
Wow.
See, that background looks done to me.
I'm gonna go into it a little bit more, like the far back, maybe. I may have to adjust some tones and darken the trees, but I kind of want to get my foreground more sorted out before I really commit to it. And then there's a tree on the right that I want to add more ivy and kind of playing on that neoclassical aspect of that time period that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, landscapes are the worst, Cassandra. So I completely
They
understand here.
are. I was thinking about you all. Like you all do such a beautiful job on your landscapes, and I feel so out of practice. And I was looking at your guys' work and I'm just like, man, you guys are good.
Well, you ought to see my pandas.
not so good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, watch me do an animal. There's a reason why I skipped the animal day. when we did it.
I think you would have done wonderfully.
I think of the animals that I've done quite a few dogs. Even for illustration, I did a number of dogs. Had Science Diet as a client for a while.
Yeah. And was that your son's dog or your daughter's dog that you painted?
Oh, that was a gift for my daughter.
Yeah, that was a beautiful piece.
Well,
Cassandra, here's a question for you. Do you ever use puppets or sculptures as a reference for your paintings?
I haven't, but I'm honestly like contemplating trying to figure it out more. I feel like I'm trying to do more full stand-up upright ones, and I need more help with some of those shadows. So I think it's something I might start to think about.
Do you ever go to the zoo for inspiration?
Yeah, I do. Like I haven't been in a while, but I've definitely gone just to get some ideas of interesting animals.
Yeah. Do you have a good zoo in Richmond?
We have a pretty good one. Yeah, like it's one where you can go feed the giraffes. So my daughters love that. So that's pretty great. And I'm actually talking with somebody that works with the natural heritage. So I'm trying to get better, just learn more about our local animals. And then I'm kind of connected with some people that have some interesting farm animals on their farm. And so sometimes I can get them to send me reference. So yeah, I kind of look all over the place for good animal photos.
How about you, Ray? You painted a lot of animals?
You know, I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I've done animal paintings, but
I've come up with I think I've done several elephants and a couple of rhinos, dogs, birds in backgrounds, things like that. But it wasn't certainly not a forte of mine, but it was something that I did a lot of. But really enjoyed doing them.
Yeah, I've always loved. I've done horses. A lot of horses.
Ooh, horses are
hard. Yeah,
horses are hard.
I've done a bunch of horses. But and some dogs. Yeah, I have. Huh. I'm getting to the. I don't know if anybody else is getting to the point now where you're like, you've done enough work that you forget about some of the pieces that you've done.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's kind of why I was asking. It's like,
yeah. I don't remember. Yeah.
I have a weird thing where I can pretty much remember everything I've done. I don't know what.
I can't after I see it, but just off the top of my, I started thinking about animals, and it's like I've actually done quite a few. But I wouldn't, if somebody just asked me, like if I didn't think about it, probably not. Yeah. Not what I do. I'm glad you got a better memory than I do, Bill.
Sometimes I remember
seriously, Bill.
Sometimes I flip them in my memory. I think something was facing one way when it was facing another way.
But you remember them, so that's still very impressive.
Yeah, sometimes it's not a good thing though.
Okay, well think about, here's this will be fun with Ray and Bill and Cassandra. It's like, think about like notable animal paintings from other artists that you react to, that you remember.
I always think of Jamie Wyeth's pig.
Yeah, that's a good
one.
That's
a great one. Yeah, that's a great one.
Like he painted all the individual hairs on that pig.
Well, Andrew did a couple of good pigs too.
There's the one with the dog. There's a one in the stable, right? Isn't there one with like a dog also, like sitting with like, looks like in a farm house or like a barn house?
Sounds right.
Soroya's bulls and things in the surf and the ocean. I always remember those. Heindel did like some unbelievable an unbelievable rhino,
Which
which
rhino, I was gonna say, the rhino was gorgeous.
yeah.
Um,
I don't think of any other really notable, I mean, things that you just remember of just being spectacular.
This is Jamie White's. I got Jamie White's pig on my my thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that rhino.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
and the pig.
blue
There's the pig.
shadows.
There's a rhino.
Yes,
Is that Andrew's?
that looks like Andrew.
Look
Yeah.
at
Oh, I
Andrew.
don't think I've ever seen that one.
Andrew did a great pig in front of the rock and the fence and the stone.
Yeah, there's the pig. Look at the hay. Imagine how long it took to do the hay.
It's like it was scratched into the. I would like to see that piece.
Yeah, it's
I wonder
it's
where it's
impressive.
at.
It's big.
Oh really? Is it in the branding one, or the
Yeah, Yeah, it's at the Brandywine.
On that note, everybody, we should be moving on to pose number 2. So please post your work to Instagram using hashtag drawing hive and tag at visual arts passage. We're going to check out the art at the end of the night. So please do post it. And I also want to say, somebody asked, what skill level do you have to be at to participate in an art mentorship? For those of you who don't know, Drawing Hive is sponsored by Visual Arts Passage. That's what puts this all together. And we offer immersive online art mentorships with some incredible illustrators and painters and artists from a lot of different corners of the industry. And we are currently enrolling for the spring semester. We've got a really killer lineup coming up next semester. So that's guest speakers and mentors and everything. Cassandra and Ray being 2 of our mentors. And John, what do you say? The experience level of a mentorship student in our program?
Well, we have
it's
varying
pretty
levels.
wide. Go ahead.
We have varying levels. We have foundation class, like a foundation on the concept side class, which is for beginners, or people that are, just starting to learn the beginnings of doing character design. On the illustration side, we have like a process, skill, and craft class, and we have people from all different levels in that class, and it's more about the information. It's like learning to reprioritize what's important in picture making. Is that first class, I think, does a very good job of that, and you would thrive at any skill level. Same is true in our painting class. I mean, again, it's always everybody that comes into our program comes in with different varying degrees of skill, and it's really bigger principles than that. It's like, why we're in here drawing tonight is a push-up and sit-up, something we do to become a better artist. That that doesn't change how pipeline is delivered or how process is delivered. Your skill set doesn't adjust to that, and I think you can learn it all at the same time as you're developing your skill to be a better drawer or understand how to use color or value or perspective, whatever. I think our program really focuses on picture making, especially the illustration and painting side. Very complete picture making, where you're dealing with composition and all kinds of different skills that are outside of what most people think skill is, because there's compositional skills, there's how well you use color, your design skills, your rendering skills. Most people relate it to drawing and rendering, and that's not necessarily the case in picture making. Anybody else can take a stab and add to that, but
One of the things I was going to just add is that if you're in our Discord server and you're new to Drawing Hive and you're like considering it, I mean, you have access to a good chunk of the server, not all of it, but you're in the same space as a lot of VAP students, and I mean, I feel so confident in the experience. It's just say, hey, considering VAP, can somebody like DM me or just respond, and you'll get connected with students. Our students are pretty quick to help out and offer pretty honest feedback on what the experience is like. And I just personally think that's just always the best way to start, is just talk with somebody that's been through it. Do you guys want to hear our we just kind of announced all of our guest speakers. I'm pretty excited about it. That's the hardest thing about, I think, our mentorship program is there are so many different resources associated with it that it's hard to tell new students about all of the resources, because it's like you got to wrap your head around so many things that we offer.
Totally.
You're going to be on this track where you get a mentor, but you get all these things. You get things like study hall, which is where you get support from other teachers in the program through the week. So that's just kind of your support group during the week. But then we also have guest speakers, which is a huge part of the program. And the guest speakers come from like every corner, like every bit of the industry. But this next semester, we got Kyle Webster, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows Kyle's brush packs with Adobe. If you have an Adobe product, you know about Kyle Webster. Justin Gerard, who's an absolute killer.
Love his work.
Yeah, an amazing fantasy and design artist. Afua Richardson, who's an Eisner Award-winning comic book artist. Really incredible. Betsy Bauer, also amazing concept artist, character designer. And then Peter Ocampo, another amazing character designer. And then the would you call Edward Kinsella kind of a prodigal son, John? He's back. Edward Kinsella is coming back as a guest speaker, so it's pretty killer lineup next semester.
That is a great lineup.
Yeah, it's like, and again, we do have a wide array of resources. And I love one of the things which I don't think is very common is we share, like in our study halls on which was last night, every Wednesday night, we share a room with concept artists, illustrators, and then gallery painters, where you're looking at artists from different parts of the industry. You're getting advice from them. You're seeing what the other students are doing in different parts of the program. It's just, it fascinates me. It's like there's so much crossover, especially in the illustration and character and concept program. The fact that what parts of the end of like doing splash art for video games. I mean, that's really an illustration. It's a very complete picture. Doing keyframe splash art, block art for illustration. There's a tremendous amount of crossover, and I love the fact that our students were exposed to that a lot of different crossover. And it's like having an illustrator that wants to do fantasy cover work, or RPG games, is to be able to get advice from people that work in that part of the industry. Last night in study hall, there was students that were there that were benefiting from illustrators, Lake Hurwitz from Wizards of the Coast, Dale Stefanos, editorial illustrator, really great picture maker, and they're getting different points of view and things that relate to both, kind of both directions. They're coming from both directions. And soon Ray will be in there with us.
Oh yeah.
That's coming fast.
And with a much better taste in sports teams than Dale. I want to add. So there's a, if I can add something to the room. I'm really excited. Really excited.
I'm glad you're doing it. We're gonna be so happy to have you.
Ray, are you just on another topic? Because I was thinking, are you a Star Wars? You're a Star Wars like fanboy, right?
Are you typecasting me?
Totally. Totally is.
Well, I was trying to think of Ray's like your dream, like kind of dream things to work on, and I was like, I wonder if Star Wars is on there. Make that up in my head.
Yeah. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I think everyone knows.
But
that.
I think that's kind of amazing because like what John was saying, we have this like community that like there's a lot of cross pollinating, right? Like there just aren't that many bubbles. I mean, I think maybe creatively it's not always a bad thing, but like being stuck in your bubble or being like in a community that's like pretty incestuous, like I don't know that that's great for creative growth or like I don't know, perhaps it's just better to just be constantly kind of outside your comfort zone and be in a community that like that offers like 10 different ways at looking at a problem. And that's one of the things that I think is so cool about these guest speakers, where you have like students from the all school meetups and stuff are pretty funny, I think, just because you've got people coming from like, I mean, you have somebody who wants to do children's books in the same room as somebody that wants to do character design on like the Diablo games, you know?
Right. And the cool thing about it is that but at the same time, they're all into the same type of art, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times there are, because I know a lot of concept artists that are really into gallery painters, a ton of them, and one buddy of mine's told me one time, he says he says the joke in his job is like every concept artist wants to be a fine artist and every fine artist wants to be a concept artist, because they follow each other so much, and yeah, I think that's the cool thing about that, and just the communities in that VAP has is really something. And I encourage people, if you're looking for mentorships like that, just look at that community, because it's a incredibly supportive community too. Like I mean, when I was teaching my mini course, which was a head painting course, exploring like digital and traditional workflows, and it's just the Discord alone was just going on. I had to turn like notifications off because it was like just my class was going nuts, with just everyone coming back and forth. And then it was great. And you really want that. You want that active community. Gotta say, it was going off. I had to turn my phone silent. I didn't turn the notifications off because obviously I had to make sure.
Messages, all of those messages were from me and John.
Yeah. Right. John, have you seen my keys? Never mind, I found it.
Anybody, I will. This is my last thing I'm going to say. If you're considering it, you should sign up this week because it's early bird, so it's $200 off with a discount code Artsy. So, yeah, it's always good to save money.
Can you make the discount code one of these times artsy fartsy just to keep it classy?
Yeah, sure. Well, you know what? I'll make that for your unique, like, so if you end up on a podcast again, Cassandra, just anytime ever in the future, you don't have to check in with me. Just make up a discount code.
Will everybody always enter artsy fartsy? Okay.
Yeah, anytime. I'll have it activated. I'll activate it before this is over.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, what can I say one more thing about like the
absolutely
VAP thing?
I'm not.
I think also Well, no, I think like study hall is a really incredible experience. And this is, I mean, I've never done it as like a student, but like as an instructor sitting there and learn, I've learned so much just to hear the different takes on things, and everyone in the room is just so smart. You know, it's really, really a cool thing to see, like, you know, you getting feedback on, you know, your pieces you did from one class, you have another instructor giving you some solutions, and then sometimes the instructors are going back and forth with like, okay, yeah, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, like, it's a lot of fun, and I think, you know, that's all part of it too. It's not just like you show up for a class and that's the end of it.
Well, right,
So to really,
when we laid it out, we were trying to think of what could be the most beneficial, flexible way to have an art program where somebody that had, you know, that just wanted the information, that was trying to, you know, better themselves, that maybe was already, you know, beginning to work in the industry, they could focus on themselves and you know, maybe they have another job, or they're going to school, or whatever, family, whatever, and they only have X amount of time during the week, 6 or 8 hours a week. But also be able to address having students that are in there that are spending, like, sometimes spending 30 and 40 hours a week on their classes.
Right.
They're treating it like an art school, and it could be that expandable. And the only way to do that is to have multiple meetups a week, live meetups, and to be able to, you know, connect with, you know, Discord all week long.
Right.
So you can have that flow back and forth. And I think we deliver pretty well on that.
oh yeah, definitely.
Until somebody turns their messages off. And
Hooray.
I was silencing my phone. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, man.
yeah, I'm getting text from Timmy right now. Did we pay him for that?
Yeah, do we pay for that? It's funny. Oh, John, I wanted to say that I saw the Scott Bacall episode. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh,
By
cool.
the way, on the Artist Spotlight.
Scott was good.
That's
What-
pretty exciting. Ray, you're doing a surprise guest episode.
Yes, I
That's
am.
next week, right?
That's next week. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
interviewing Mike Thomas, who's worked for he's had a really interesting career. He was and I'll won't reveal everything, but he's an illustrator who started work at Mark Echo. I don't know if anybody knows Mark Echo. Timmy, you know Mark Echo, right? Echo Unlimited.
that?
No, I don't.
Dude, what? That's fashion, man. So back in the 90s, like that was like
Oh, Echo Unlimited?
Echo Unlimited. Yeah, he
Yeah.
designed their t-shirts.
Yeah, I know
That's how he started. Yeah. And he was a t-shirt, he designed their t-shirts for that. And that's how we kind of broke in, at least according to, you know, other interviews with him. And then he did stuff for Hasbro, Marvel, and then transitioned, started doing 3D stuff, and he's done stuff for Sideshow Collectibles and all sorts of stuff. I mean, he's been an illustrator for over 25 years. So it's a real it's going to be really cool to see him to talk about his career, because he's done just so much, like a real illustrator. Not that it, you know, it's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, those fake ones are annoying.
Yeah, those fake ones are really annoying, you know. Like that first interview you had, that Artist Spotlight you had a couple of weeks back with that guy, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Decided
He's
he'd rather
just-
paint than be an illustrator. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. For those you wonder, I'm talking about myself. True story. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Talking about yourself or talking about Dale? 'Cause, you know,
Yeah, I know, right?
big against Dale, like why pass that opportunity up, you know?
That is true. That is true. Oh, dang it, Bill. Yeah, I did drop the ball on that. I could have made fun of Dale again.
Thrown Dale into the bus again.
Yeah. But Timmy, you will be impressed by Mike's setup too. He's got like I think a way better radio voice than I do. It's like incredible.
You have the ultimate radio voice, Ray. I don't know what you're talking about there.
Mike Thomas, man, it's smooth. It's
No,
smooth.
you've got that raspiness though. You've got that, hi, this is Ray Vinny, I'm coming at you from.
Yeah.
Wait, Bill, you did it a little bit more like Christian Bale Batman. Like,
That went outside just a little bit, I can't get quite the but
Yeah, no, listen, I love that. I love it. I
Yeah,
just got
sound a
compared to
little bit
Batman.
just
So
to make my voice a little raspier.
yeah, yeah.
I smoked a few cigarettes this morning.
Yeah.
Ultimate, like.
I had broken glass in my cereal with my Cheerios this morning.
and it tossed it back with whiskey.
Yeah, with whiskey
Well,
while I'm drinking a seltzer here.
due to popular demand, Action Visual Arts Passage, Drawing Hive Action News is back.
Yay!
Finally.
Yeah, I've got some good ones for tonight.
Ray, I have a quick question for you. Have you watched Resident Alien? Does anybody watch this show?
You're gonna cut off Action News for like a 10-year.
No, I just want to say like Alan Tudyk's
The
voice.
wrap on Action news.
Yeah,
Alan's
that's-
Back to you.
Awesome. And,
Back to you, Bill.
you go back to your Action News or whatever. I was just trying to find that in while it was topical before you started the Action News. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, let's hear what.
Well, I've never was it Resident what? Say again.
Alan Tudyk does this great voice.
I love Alan Tudyk.
The voice
Oh, the voice.
of Resident Alien is just perfect.
I'm gonna look that up because game's got to respect game. You know what I'm saying?
He was brilliant at Death in a Funeral. Oh my gosh. Love that guy. Sorry, Action News time.
Yeah, go to your
Where's-
No, I want it to have a stronger start. So it's not
nice,
Action News
nice
time
segue.
yet. No, Bill, your Yoda's looking awesome. Has anybody got this? Is I think,
great.
correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time we are drawing something that is like totally not real, right? Or is Yoda fully CGI or is it live?
So he's a puppet.
You better consider our audience when you say that.
What do you mean? It's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I'm so
he's a
sorry,
puppet.
everybody. So sorry. Yoda is real. Wrestling isn't fake. And
And
Well,
his name is
this
Grogu.
This is what's his name? Grogu.
Grogu.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna paint him next. I just wanted to have I wanted a set pair, so I wanted to have Pedro Pascal with Grogu.
His name is Grogu, but I guarantee John found it by Googling Baby Yoda.
Oh, that's hands down how that happened, for sure.
I'm pretty sure John was not like Grogu.
I like the fact that wasn't Yoda Frank Oz originally?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
The same guy that did,
Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy did, Yoda.
Was Frank Oz on Sesame Street as well?
He was.
Mhm. Yeah, he was also Grover's voice originally.
He was almost
Oh,
everybody but
gross.
Kermit, who was Jim Henson. And he was in Trading Places as the ornery desk sergeant.
Sandra, can I ask a big favor?
Huh?
Could you give Timmy an intro for the news?
Hands down. Are you ready
No,
for?
I'm waiting
I'm ready
for
for.
this. we're gonna switch poses in like 10 minutes, so we'll do it in our last pose.
We'll do it in the last pose.
I've got the intro song.
Sorry, I ruined it for you, Timmy.
That's okay.
Cassandra, I thought I heard like John's phone go off in the background with a text from Timmy saying, "Can you maybe ask Cassandra to do that?" I'm sure I'm kind of banking on it. Yeah.
Uh,
I think there was also, can we block Bill?
Yeah.
No, all it said was Bill's band. That's all.
Bill's band. Yeah. I thought that's what. Well, I thought you were gonna be banned, and as soon as Timmy asked you about complimented your drawing, can you talk more about it? Click. Here's your lost Bill. That's a shame. Back to my action news.
We could go back to, it was fun drawing with Bill all these sessions.
Yeah. And then the next episode will be we draw Bill Cobb, but don't invite Bill Cobb back, you know.
Guys, I'm just trying to keep the flow of the show going.
I know. I just my chops, my radio chops have to be better when it comes to stuff like that, though. Like the instant segues,
Mhm.
yeah, I've got to be able to pick that up. So that's on me, folks.
Yeah. If you're gonna be stepping in on the Artist Spotlight podcast next week, you're gonna have to pick up on these passive aggressive.
Yeah.
passive aggression. You have to get a lot better.
No pressure or anything, but step it up.
Yeah, step it up. Talking about stepping up, do we have action news? Oh wait, no, we're waiting. Right, I forgot. I got too excited.
Yeah. What brushes are you?
Oh, right. I started watching Great Portrait Artist and I love it.
Oh, I'm
What
glad.
is it?
Yeah, you recommended it to me, and then yeah, so good.
Can you share what it is to everybody?
Yeah, it's like it's like the Great British Bake Off, but for portrait artists. So I only watched season 1, but I watched season 1. So what they do is it's set in the UK, and each episode is in a different location. So there's like, England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and they have like selected portrait artists, and their self-portraits are up. And then celebrities in the area, whether they're famous athletes or actors and actresses, like they pose for 3 hours. Is it 3 hours or 4 hours? But
It's
they
something like that, yeah. But the post live though, yeah.
yeah, and then based on the portraits, they're judged on the portraits that they do from that, and they narrow it down to like one person, and then one person from each location then make it to the finale, and then there's a couple portrait opportunities that they do to then pick the final one. And for that one, they got to paint like the winner gets to paint a famous author, and then that piece will hang in the British Library. So I really liked how they did it, and they got a really unique collection of artists. So I was really impressed by that.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I don't know where to find this, but there's a show, a Dutch show called The Next Vermeer.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Oh,
To coincide with the Vermeer show, which in Amsterdam, which is sold out many times over, because they keep adding tickets to it. There's a Dutch show called Looking for the Next Vermeer, and I think what they're doing is they have to paint a painting based on a description of a Vermeer that never existed. And
Oh, interesting.
huh.
yeah, and then they also include like other, offshoots, like versions of, Girl with the Pearl Earring and different things. And there's a New York Times article about it, and Art News has a thing on it. But there's a website you can go to. You just go to Art News and find out where the website is. but I love that idea, you know, and what a tough act to follow, you know. Vermeer was
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Vermeer was just,
seriously.
you know, he wasn't too bad.
And it's so interesting that he is so remembered, considering how small his actual amount of work you generated, like in
Yeah.
comparison to someone like Soroya, or like, I know you're not, I mean, they're two different artists, but like even like David or
it's
something like
like-
that, you know, like
Isn't it only like 38 paintings? You know, it's a very small
17.
collection.
There's 28 paintings in the show, and there's 38 paintings, 37 paintings total.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
like
died when he was
37.
He died when he was 43, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know
died-
that.
He died in debt.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, there's a lot of painters that lived a lot less time, a lot shorter time, that did a lot more paintings than that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You get like
Caravaggio.
Modigliani. I mean, there's a lot of them that died very young.
Giancilli, Modigliani, and yeah, so I, you know,
I'll have to look
That's
that shit
awesome.
up. Cool, Bill.
they're small
Trying to
paintings.
think, like George Bellis died when he was in his 30s, right? And
Yeah. So he died.
McCloud.
Vermeer- What era was Vermeer? Was that like 17th century?
I think so.
He
Yeah,
was Dutch Renaissance, wasn't he?
I'm pretty sure it was 17th century. Yeah,
Yeah.
43, he was like an ancient old man. I can't imagine. 43 is like old. Right?
I would think it was
Yeah.
pretty young for the Netherlands at that time, though. No,
I think so. I mean, considering how long Rembrandt lived, you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
think,
he's kind of an exception. He's not
Yeah.
the norm.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
Well, wasn't
think it was pretty rough. I
Rembrandt
think it was pretty rough. You know what he did? You
But
know what he
he's-
never did whenever he did anything painting? He never talked about what chemicals or there wasn't like, oh, you're gonna want to wear a mask for this one.
No, I feel like he's like the George Burns of artists, where, you know, he just breaks all the rules and falls into all the exceptions.
Who's that? Vermeer?
No, Rembrandt.
Oh, yeah.
have you ever seen The Power of Art? The Simon Schama. Oh my gosh. Oh, you have to look up The Power of Art. It's by he's a art historian by the name of Simon Schama. I think at the time he was teaching at NYU, but he's British, and he got famous doing the series called The History of Britain, which is another incredible series, and of just like how Britain became like the actual history of Britain, and it's told so well, and he's such a great storyteller. But he did this thing afterwards called The Power of Art, and he picked one artwork per artist that changed everything. And
Ooh.
one of them was Rembrandt. He's in it. It was Rembrandt, Picasso, Caravaggio, Van Gogh, and Mark Rothko.
Oh, wow.
Is this a show? Like, what is this?
I think it was a BBC special that they then, like, I caught it on DVD.
Okay.
So I'll show you how dated it is, but it's really good. Like Andy Serkis is Vincent Van Gogh, or
That's
Van Gogh,
awesome.
depending on where you
Yes.
come. And they did, and it's so good. It's so good. And Caravaggio the Caravaggio episode is like incredible, but the Rembrandt one is like, oh man, it is so good. And it talks about
Okay. I totally want to see that.
his last painting. It, like the painting that basically got cut up. It was like a this huge, it was like the history of the Netherlands, of like the Dutch people, and oh man, and that they had to slice it up and he had to sell it in pieces because they rejected it. They never paid him for it. And he was so broke. Ah, it's so good. It's good. I'm not even gonna. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Okay, I'm gonna find this. This sounds amazing too. I
All
love
right.
these suggestions. Thank you.
Two things. Average lifespan in the 17th century was roughly 35 years old.
Oh,
Ah.
Wow, really?
But
In
it's-
in
it's,
in the
it's-
Netherlands though?
Well, everywhere. They just aggregate them. But that being said, those numbers are pretty twisted because just most people didn't live beyond the age of like 10, you know? So it
Right.
chart, there's a lot of curvature at the beginning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But on that note, on the note of stats from the 17th century, we are moving on to the third and final post. So please post your work with the hashtag Drawing Hive, hashtag Drawing Hive and at Visual Arts Passage in the caption. Please share it. We are going to check it out at the end of the night. Don't wait till the end. You won't have enough time. Even if you think you have enough time, frankly, sometimes Instagram just will not show your stuff. Like it doesn't update. It's mean. We have no control over it. Please don't message me about it. I can't do anything about it. I feel bad. Every time I get a message, I feel bad.
not my fault.
Yeah. It's the best we can do.
And now it's time for the news.
Let me get it right.
Ooh, good intro, Bill.
Thanks.
That's
Thank you.
great intro.
All right. Right.
Yes.
It's another night of action news. We have stories in both the absurd and in theft. So for tonight's first news story, we've got the from CNN. This artwork is going to be on the moon for eternity. In 1977, the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 spacecraft launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Their mission was to explore the solar system. So I'm reading the boring part. All right. Now, as the Voyagers traveled into interstellar space, artists are beginning to explore what they can do off Earth. In March, a piece by Dubai-based artist and philanthropist Sasha Jaffrey is set to land on the moon. His work, We Rise Together by Light of the Moon, is scheduled to fly into space on a United Launch Alliance rocket powered by engines developed by Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. The launch is scheduled to take place at the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral the first week of March. The work is an engraving depicting a male and female figure surrounded by 88 hearts. Yeah, that's it. This is going to the moon. And yeah, that's it. It's going to the moon. This is it. This is what we're putting on the moon.
I can't even.
I'm just enjoying the way that you're describing that with so
Yes.
much emotion and
Yeah,
obvious awe-inspiring moment for you.
This is the thing that we are going to put on the moon.
Good riddance.
Bill, wait, you're like, get that thing as far away from Earth as possible.
I'm sorry. I mean, come on.
No, I was gonna dog on it too.
I don't want to be a hater, but really.
No, I think, you know what? I think it's okay to be a hater on the ego of sending things off into space right now. You know, I love space.
You know what it's going to do to the environment here on Earth?
Yeah. I'm all about it. Like about what you're getting at. Yeah.
It's sickening. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
And that.
This is Bill was locked and loaded, and Timmy was banking on it, and it was perfect.
Just need ammunition.
I think Bill and I are on the, Bill and I are, this is a rare instance, but
You're on the
I
same page.
know,
we are
yeah.
like,
Bill's
we are
response gonna be.
fully aligned.
Oh my God.
Would,
I'm
if,
sorry.
if someone approached, I mean, I don't know, it just seems like it demands a pretty intense ego to want to put something on the moon, right?
But if somebody asked me if like they could send something of mine to the moon, I'd say
Yeah,
sure.
but what if then after they asked you, I told you the carbon footprint that you would have that year because of your moon art?
But what if, I mean,
I-
the rockets are going up, they're already going to the moon for other reasons. Is that my carbon footprint, or is that me
It
just
is.
taking advantage of their carbon footprint?
It is because they fill
Right.
that payload. You're taking up the space of other stuff.
And then I would ask you, which of your pieces of artwork were going to the moon?
What's
After,
moon?
after you would ask me.
That
I
would
could
be.
then say my art is out of this world.
Oh, wow.
Let's see.
Can you imagine
Boom.
how confusing that would be for, because it's going to be engraved. I'm pretty sure it has to be engraved on something like this for it to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right there is probably, that precious metal probably costs, 3/4 of a rocket booster, one of the Blue Origin's rockets. I mean, like, that's got to be some sort of rare earth metal or something.
I'm just thinking, I'm gonna get hate mail from all the fans of whoever did that thing.
I don't think so. I don't, Bill, I think we're on the right side of history on this one. I do. I do. It's just so silly.
Bill and I.
I want to learn about space. I want to learn about space. I don't like this like planting flag space stuff.
Can we just send a banana taped to a wall
But
again?
if there's like an artist in residency and you could go like on a trip to
Thank you,
to
Cassandra.
space.
No, they won't be invited. They won't be invited. It'll be Cassandra.
That's a horrible.
John, you can come along if you want to, but
I'm gonna paint animals in spacesuits, people.
Pigs in
Yeah.
space.
You and Jeff Bezos.
No, thank you.
Oh, Cassandra,
Jeff
you don't
and
get
I.
to go to space. You don't get to go to space and not be friends with them.
oh,
Yeah, I think that's part of the ticket price. Yeah. You have to pick
it's a
which
great
one-
first. This is a great first story, Timmy. I'm sorry. I just wanted to. I really appreciate you bringing this up. Go ahead.
I mean, okay, here's a good question. All right, so because it seems like some of the room thinks there's a value in putting a piece of artwork on the moon. What piece of artwork do you think would actually be worth tossing up on the moon?
I just wanted to make a Jeff Koons joke about like about
That's
the
where we should have set the shards up there.
Yeah, just throw them in a Ziploc bag and toss them up on the moon.
and a nice clear pedestal.
A nice clear pedestal. I like that.
Oh.
Somebody said dogs playing poker. That one deserves to go up to the moon.
But
I
dogs have
that.
to be in spacesuits, Julian.
Julian's good. Yeah, dogs playing poker.
Yeah. God, it's one of those
Astronaut version
I'm
of
not gonna get off on it.
Nighthawks.
What are you saying by putting it on the moon, though? This is what, like, the Voyager, when they sent it out, they didn't put a whole bunch of, like, they put artwork in there. I know they put a Beatles album or something, right?
I mean, the Sagan story, like that's a beautiful story, and it actually had an intention to it, which was just like to kind of send. That's such a beautiful. Have you ever read like the full like love story of Sagan meeting his wife during that?
No. Oh no, I didn't know that.
It's an incredible story. I've listened to a couple podcasts about it. There's a book that's really good. But he pretty much like fell in love with his wife during that project. And it's really an incredible story about trying to learn how to, assuming that disc that they sent. If anybody's wondering, the Voyager is this disc that contains all of this information about humanity that was sent off into space. And I believe it recently, a couple of years ago, passed out of our solar system completely. I think that's true. But it's an interesting story just scientifically, because they're talking about visually, and I guess this is interesting for artists. Visually, how do you communicate to someone who shares no reference points?
Right, that's a really good question.
Right. And one of the biggest critiques about the Voyager disc is that they used arrows as indicators in it. And arrows from like our lens only makes sense because of the like they have this history that goes back, hundreds, tens of thousands of years with like hunting. And it's like a point, like that's a point. To point and indicate where you're going, you would do it with an arrow. And they're like, aliens are like any civilization that ever finds this disc, that they're not going to understand what arrows are. But it was really interesting. They decided they did not include any depictions or mentions of war in it. And like, yeah, I think there's a Beatles album on it. They recorded his soon-to-be wife, just her, like in a room after she had felt that she had fallen in love with Sagan. They just recorded her, just like a full body scan, which is kind of very sweet and interesting. It's a really sweet story. I highly recommend it. But this artwork,
I missed the whole story. Sorry.
no, but this artwork, the big thing that they keep saying is it's going to be there for eternity, which to me is just like the human obsession with, I don't want to be a grain of sand.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
if you could do it, great, right?
Yeah, I guess Cassandra's going to have that.
Welcome if you got him. Cassandra and I are going to the moon, baby.
All right. We've got some more Florida art news.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody shouted a Basquiat. Is that?
Yeah. So Florida art dealer pleads guilty to selling fake Warhol. This is a fake Basquiat, but it's from, I believe it's from the same gallery. The same dealer. The Palm Beach art dealer, Daniel Boises, pleaded guilty yesterday to selling a counterfeit artwork by Andy Warhol. In the spring of 2022, Special Agent Mark Gervasi of the FBI's art crime team, which is a pretty awesome job, submitted a complaint to the Southern Florida District Court outlining the findings of his investigation. They suspected that he was selling faked works by artists like Warhol, Lichtenstein, Herring, Banksy, and I'm guessing Basquiat.
That's correct.
Well, yeah, it's listed here as a fake Basquiat, but they just don't mention it in the article. During the course of the investigation, law enforcement officials went undercover and bought a fake work from him called a Superman print. During the deal, he allegedly told the undercover agent that it was very rare, that there were only 100 of them. And then this is what got him in trouble. The back of the print, he had put a stamp from the Carnegie Museum of Art, and allegedly put it there to make the work look more authentic. They were able to quickly check with the Carnegie Museum and found that there was no, like, that was not a thing.
Oh my God.
That's lazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was it seems as though that was the nail in the coffin. Let's see, I'm trying to say how much money. They agreed the undercover team agreed to make a purchase of a collection of works by Basquiat, Herring, Banksy, and O'Keefe for a total of $22 million. Yeah, and all of these works were originally sourced from an auction website by this alleged criminal for $495.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he
pretty
didn't
good
have them
markup.
made. He bought them. He bought them.
It's not even like close to a good scam.
Yeah. He,
Yeah.
he was so lazy that he could have paid another artist to do it, but instead he brought them at auction for a black market auction, you said?
Yeah, no, just like it's an auction website. I'm just assuming he went to like a website that's like frameit.io.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But, like,
picturing.
But what I'm saying is like he, like I love watching like the art forgers and stuff. Oh, Cassandra, there's another one as the greatest forger. I think it's called the BBC one, and it's
Okay.
this world-renowned forger who had jail time. He forged a ton of stuff, Monets and all this stuff, and he shows you how he does it. But then every week they try and imitate an artist. So they go through Rembrandt,
Oh, that's fun.
Van Gogh, Sargent, and all
And
this
I
stuff.
get to
And
learn
he talks about
technique.
technique and all these things, and he would talk about stuff like that. So you hear usually with the stories like that, it's like it's like an artist who needs money and needs somebody fast, and like they start building a rapport with the dealer. Like I'm getting ready, like I'm expecting the same thing, because that's usually how the story goes with all this stuff. But like this dude just went on an auction website, was like, yeah, that looks good.
Oh
I
my
could
God.
swing this.
He's skipping
Right?
the
I mean,
he's
that's
skipping the middleman completely, the forger.
yeah, he's completely right. It's like forgers,
Come on, forgers need
I mean, come
they
on.
gotta make money too. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to eat. He's
Well,
They have
leaving a lot of
families.
properties
He
on the
did.
table here.
He did have
There
some,
goes the doc on it.
yeah, he did have some success with this scam because he did receive a down payment for a seemingly unknown victim. They don't know who the victim was, but a down payment of $200,000 for one of the paintings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just too embarrassed to come forward after
The
the
most
Florida man
impressive
story on art forgery came out.
is
Oh.
the most impressive thing about that whole story to me is that the FBI has an art forgery task force. Which I think is
You know what?
pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Because I look for the news every once in a while for this, you can actually go to the FBI's website and they have a page of just like a rundown of all the major art crimes that they're investigating or have like updates on.
Oh, that's
That's awesome.
It's a pretty cool webpage. I recommend checking it out. But yeah, I think Cassandra, it's really common. I think that's like maybe one of the ways that scammers get away with things like being unreported is there's so much shame with getting scammed.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I would totally think that it was a pride thing. And,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of clout of having like a big name piece of art, and then to have to realize that you were bamboozled, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to ask people like, what's the most you've ever been like money you've been like scammed out of? Like, and Gian was like, you gotta stop doing that. It's-
No one wants
No one wants to answer that
we're not being
question.
invited to parties anymore.
Yeah, I was like, well, it's a really interesting question because, and I always would start with mine, which was like, I got scammed out of like $600 on like a car, like at an auto shop. Not proud of it. I'm not proud of it, but usually people are still like, yeah, no, I've never been scammed before. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
You just don't know it, right?
Yeah,
You just don't know.
oh yeah,
You're
or they
currently
don't
being
know it.
scammed,
That's a
right?
really good point.
Yeah.
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 Anyway. Hey gang, so I gotta unfortunately head out.
Oh,
got this.
Did you just realize you got scammed on something?
No, yeah, I gotta go talk to my
I gotta
my
go
accountant.
cancel all
I
of
gotta
my
talk about a
calls.
guy thing.
Yeah, I gotta go change my passwords. No.
Ray, we'll see you on
Sorry.
Monday.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
See you,
Thank you,
Ray.
man.
Thanks for
Great
coming.
joining, everyone.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
That's the end of action news for this week. So
Now, as a scam, we should just all disappear on Monday, like you just move it to Tuesday,
yeah.
or Cassandra, your Groku is looking fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited to get to paint him. If I can pull it off. Ultimate level of cuteness. So Timmy, is that why you became so proficient with cars, like after your personal experience?
I'm not proficient with cars, I would say.
Well, I feel like you were really proud of like you just did you changed out your transmission or something, right?
Oh God, I didn't change out my transmission. I swapped out my radiator.
Okay, well that's impressive.
It's a
I'm
part of a
impressed.
car.
I was gonna say, I thought it went from an oil change to a transmission.
No, not a transmission. I find a lot of satisfaction with doing like little mechanical things like that, but I can't. I hit a wall pretty fast. So and that's not why I became proficient. I became more I think that it's tough though, because when you do get, because that happened to me when I was really young. I was like 17. So I was just like a prime target for an auto shop to
Mhm.
um and then I think that it can happen to people professionally where they don't get scammed, but they feel cheated out of a job or out of a project. They feel like they got wronged, kind of. And like professionally, you find this thing where you protect yourself because for me personally, like when that happened professionally on projects, I didn't feel scammed, but I felt kind of, I don't know, taken advantage of on a project or something like that. And you become, I would say, I became paranoid in my 20s, like that, everybody's out to get me on projects and stuff. And I was really skeptical or maybe overly protective to make sure I was like taken care of on a project.
That makes perfect sense, though.
Well, but it's not very there's a line. It becomes unlikable pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's like the game of reading people and trusting people, and yeah. I don't know. I've learned, go ahead. Sorry.
Unfortunately, that's, there are people that are trying to scam other people, but
Yeah.
it's hard to know how cautious is too cautious.
Yeah. Well, when you're too cautious, you kind of end up, or when you're too like paranoid, or you think everybody's out to get you, you end up alone.
Yeah.
That's the other side of it, I guess. What do you think you all have learned the most from, maybe what are some of the big things you learned in your 20s as an artist?
Oh, not to take on anybody's like children's book that they wrote on the side.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Really?
Yeah, there's so many like, oh, I've been writing this children's book, you should illustrate it. And it's like they haven't even like followed through, but you get excited or like, oh, like I've always wanted to do a children's book. I feel like I've gotten burned by several of those.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's interesting.
I-
And contracts, I would say, like, are you doing commissions without a contract and you get burned because you didn't get money up front or something?
Yeah.
I get a lot of, lately, the latest thing that people have been trying to do is I get these emails about NFTs,
Oh, yeah, I get this all the time.
and the thing is that.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about those. Though. You know, I'm not talking
I'm
about
not talking
those.
about actual NFTs. I'm talking about a scam revolving around the NFTs. It's always the overpromise thing. If it sounds too good to be true, but it's
Yeah.
also like you can see the poor vocabulary or poor English or whatever use of language, unprofessional sounding language, and you just like, this is not real. You're not.
Yeah, that's not the type of scam I'm talking about, though, or like wrong, like bad. I'm just talking about like reading people and learning who's good to work with and stuff. Because, yeah, I mean, 1000% of the time you get an email about NFTs. It's
Yeah.
opportunity.
But
Yeah.
like, I mean, the worst thing, I think the biggest mistake I've ever made professionally is taking on the wrong job for the money,
Huh.
And you just don't enjoy what you're doing.
I think the biggest thing, especially in your 20s, because you're so naive to about everything, you start working professionally. You got to learn to, even if somebody's not trying to take advantage of you, it could just be a bad scenario to begin with. You learn to understand what works. You start to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And
Mhm.
then you start to get some kind of sense of that, like, oh, better not take that type of job again. Because, I figured out real quickly that because I started working in larger markets editorially, and then I started getting calls to do institutional and advertising jobs that came from different parts of the country. A lot of that was the time period that I was, illustrating in. But I would get these projects, like you'd get a project from Tulsa, Oklahoma, to do something for an ag company, and they were not very professional about buying art. They weren't accustomed to it. They didn't do it all the time. Like in the bigger cities, in the bigger markets, they were used to it. It was done professionally. And so I guess the thing that I took away was like, really pay attention to how much the people that I'm working or going to work with understood about what they were doing.
Yeah, what they were buying, what they weren't buying, what the expectation was that they were going to get and not going to get.
Oh, it just made me aware of, just really trying to take care of the details. Because a lot of the details were left out in some of those type of projects I started with.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I'm assuming communication is just a big part of that.
Yeah. Even if you communicated it, they didn't understand it. I mean, it's like, it would be right there in my contract that, it's like if you were doing something for, I remember doing something for a whiskey company, and I did a painting. It was a still life with the bottle on the table, and just a still life painting of this bottle and whatever else was on the table, fruit, vegetables, whatever. I don't know what was there. And then the question came up afterwards. They said, well, we'd really like to give the painting. We love the painting. We'd like to hang it here. And it was like, well, okay, well, you got to pay me again for that. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you bought reproduction rights for this. This was in it for an advertisement that you were running.
Right.
They said, well, that doesn't, they're saying, well, of course we own the artwork. And I'm like, look at your contract.
Right, because that's the kind of stuff I mean, like,
Yeah.
knowing what they're actually getting, what they're not getting.
That was just them not, doing it, like if you're working for a, doing magazine work, editorial work, they buy artwork, lots of artwork every month. None of those issues come up because it's, they're accustomed to it.
And one of the funniest things, I had a cancellation fee for, I had a pretty good career just shooting interviews. It's like talking heads, and there was this restaurant in town that was owned by Gene Simmons. No, not Gene Simmons. What am I thinking of? Whatever. Kiss front man.
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons. Okay.
Yeah. He's a Kiss front man.
Oh my God. I was having such a brain, like I was going nuts because I was thinking of Richard Simmons. And I was like, I get the right Simmons. Very different. No, so I was supposed to shoot this interview with him, and he showed up, and it's promoting his restaurant, right? Like he has some ownership of it or something. And he was like, no, you got to pay me to talk in this interview. And they were like, we're not paying you. Like, it's in your best interest that this goes well. And so it was this big thing. And then he walked. And then they were like, hey, it's all canceled. I'm sorry. And I was like, well, I've got my cancellation fee. And I always thought it was really cool that I went to a shoot with Gene Simmons and I got paid more than him. Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah. Not a cool guy. I'll go ahead and say I don't think this is gonna come back and get me. Not a cool guy. Yeah.
Those Kiss fans are just lining up.
You're gonna wake up to this sound tomorrow of these huge boots coming after you.
Yeah. Julian Dwyer already chimed in. Paul Stanley is the lead singer. Simmons is the talentless bassist.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know my Kiss knowledge. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, which one was it? Simmons or Stanley?
Oh, it was Simmons. I'm like 90% sure, John. Yeah.
Stanley's the one that's on the commercial now, where he sticks his head in the doorway. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's promoting. I just remember seeing the commercial over the weekend.
Is that the one where they're like, that's not a rock star, or is that?
Yeah.
That's-
Everybody's referring to everybody as a rock star, and he's
Oh, that was good.
That's right.
he sticks his head
I do
sticks
that.
his head in the boardroom. You're not a rock star.
That was John, on the topic of bad clients, not bad clients, but clients that just don't understand. They're not they're not accustomed to the industry. They're just like
Right.
they're just like wading into
They
it.
don't know normal practices.
They don't know. That was my best. Yeah, they didn't know normal practices, and they became my best client because they paid for a cancellation fee, and then paid for an actual shoot later, and then at the end of the year sent me this email that was like, "Oh my God, we are so sorry. I don't know how this happened, but we forgot to pay you." And I was like looking at my numbers, and I was like, "They definitely paid me." And I called my dad. I remember I called my dad, and I was like, "What do you think I should do?" And he goes, "You want my honest opinion?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I think you should bill him a third time."
They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, he's like, that accounting department is a mess. He's like,
That's hilarious.
I didn't. My mom chimed in and guilted me into all the bad luck I was supposedly going to get if I didn't say anything. So,
Oh my God.
and to this day, I regret doing it.
That is so your dad's solution, though.
Oh my God,
He
yeah.
recognizes, he sees a weak spot. I
Yeah.
see a weakness in their accounting.
He was, yeah, yeah, he was, that's what he used to say, that's what he liked about Christopher, that they had in common is they were cockroaches, that they could just survive anything. Yeah. Or he said that to Christopher once, and Christopher was like, that's a really strange thing to tell me. Yeah.
That wasn't the description I was hoping for.
Yeah. He was like, what? And I was like, no, it's hard to understand, but it's a compliment coming from him, Christopher. Everybody, this is the 10-minute warning. So
Mm. There's some good stuff on the Instagram feed.
No, I bet.
Of course there is.
Boy.
I said 10, but I meant 5. I'm sorry. Wasn't.
I was excited about getting 10 minutes.
Not gonna make a difference here.
I almost
say not gonna make a
feels like we've been
difference.
drawing a long time tonight.
I mean, for my drawing, 10 minutes isn't gonna make it any better.
Have you on the art front, has there been any media, artists, news that you've been scoping out lately, or shows? Cassandra, I know you mentioned that one art, the next. I know we were talking about some of it, but
I
Oh,
got
the great
something.
portrait artist.
yeah.
I got something, Timmy.
What's that?
My good pal, George Pratt, and another good friend, James Martin, are having a show at the Frazetta Museum. There
Is that in Florida?
That's in Florida, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
That opens March 12th.
That'll be amazing.
And I don't, Bill, I don't know how I don't know the relationship of, because I know there's been all kinds of strange things that have happened in that family over ownership of his work. But the Frazetta girls, this is their museum, and I know it's an hour just south of Sarasota. And I thought that's a good one to mention. Two really good artists.
Yeah. It's only, well, it's about a 10-hour drive for me.
I want to go to that museum because I went to the son's version of his dad, and that was a very interesting experience. So I'd be very curious to see the daughter's version, which I imagine is a bit more organized.
Which one drove the tractor through the other ones? now?
The son, I don't know if
Son.
the son did that, drove the backhoe to try
Yeah.
to take all the work back.
Did they use it to pull the door off, or did they drive it through the door?
They put it like through the side of the building, I think. It's the only way they could get in it.
I saw some of the work, that George has put. I mean, George has just been fantastic.
Drive a tractor through a museum with a lot of artwork in it. You really got to pick your wall.
Well, it was more like their family home that they were making the museum there, not the Florida one, it was the Pennsylvania one.
Okay.
It wasn't what I would call like museum security.
Yeah.
But how do you even secure against that? If somebody decides they're going to drive a heavy machine through your door, there's not much you can do.
Maybe not.
Especially when it's, your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that complicates it.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I don't know, 20 years ago.
Yeah, at least.
That was a thrilling story when it happened. I mean, just the gossip that that.
Oh yeah, it was.
I
It
can't
took
imagine.
front stage for a while.
Yeah,
Center stage.
it's really too bad because I'm assuming that I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but did it pretty much? I mean, that's got to have been the nail in the coffin for that family, right?
I think that ship may have already sailed when that happened.
Yeah, it already kind of sailed by that
Yeah.
point, I think.
Yeah, but you always hear about people like repairing a an impossible relationship, but the
It's true.
the tractor through
And
the
you know
door.
what? Maybe time has healed those wounds and they're a lot better now too. Like that's always possible.
Yeah.
They're laughing about it. Remember the time you drove a tractor through my house?
I mean, I've heard of people forgiving much wilder things than that. Yeah.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. But it's hard, I think, when everybody's talking about it. That makes it a bit more difficult. That's Muddy Colors posted about it. Is that the show, John?
Yeah. Arnie Fenner wrote something about it.
Sweet. I just shared that with everybody on Discord. Check it out. If you're in Florida, go see it.
Oh, but it's an awesome show.
I would encourage you to take a good look at James Martin and George's work anyway, even if you don't go. It's just,
Will the show be online to see, or is it only available to see in person?
I don't know.
I'll look that up. I'm sure it's in the Muddy Colors article, but Chris Payne's also got a show March 3rd.
He does. Yeah.
Where's his show?
It is in Middletown, Ohio, at the Middletown Cultural Arts Center. So
Fantastic.
that's fun. Man, James Martin's, I love his figures. They're really pretty.
He's a good drawer.
He's even better at jujitsu. I don't know what he's better at, but he's a black belt in jujitsu.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So he's probably, you know what, I'd say this, he's the most creative and most dangerous man I know. Yeah. That doesn't cry. There's usually not a ton of crossover there.
But what a great way to be described. I mean, that's kind of epic.
Yeah. 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 You'd never know it. I mean, I don't know. You could tell it. I think he probably has some cauliflower here.
Oh man, no, he definitely does. I mean, I took one look at that guy and it's like, I'll keep my distance from that dude.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
definitely spent a lot of time in the ring.
he's been on the mat for a while. Yeah. Everybody, please start posting your work to Instagram using hashtag drawing hive and at visual arts passage. Post to Instagram, start posting now. We're going to keep drawing and talking for a little bit, and we'll hop over to Instagram soon. Bill, question from Paul: what stock are you drawing on? Did you add a ground to the paper? Drawing looks fabulous.
This is, I'll tell you what I'm drawing on. Hold on, let me find that.
It does look fabulous. Good job.
Oh, thanks. I'm really feel like I'm struggling with everything right now. It's just this toned gray paper. It's here. That's what it is. Strathmore toned paper. It's 400 series. It's really got a nice weight to it that I like. Yeah, and it takes some use. It's got a nice feeling to it. So I was trying something in this that I haven't done in a while, which is use a grid on top of a drawing that already exists. So I just opened up my drawing in Procreate. And just wanted to see what would happen if I use the grid just to, I don't know.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah. I mean, how do I feel about the drawing, or how do I feel about using the grid? The grid
let's start with the grid.
The grid's an interesting method because you can move things around and you can see where things are. The drawing, I don't know, I mean, I've been struggling with my eyesight a little bit. Just nothing major, just
Uh-huh.
things not quite in focus without my glasses, and things are a little distorted with my glasses. So I don't always see as much detail as I would like. Or if I do, it's distorted, so.
John, did your dad's eyesight remain pretty good into his old age?
It's something really, I know it sounds terrible to say this, but he had cataracts. And he
Uh-huh.
had cataract surgery when he was like 70, and it made his eye, it gave him 20/20 vision again. They replaced the, whatever they do with the lenses gave him like perfect vision again.
Oh,
So he
that's amazing.
wore glasses through his 60s and didn't have to wear them after that.
Wow.
Is that like LASIK or different?
No, it's different. They literally, like, I think they replaced the lenses.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for cataracts right now myself.
Okay.
Because I can't stand wearing glasses, but I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Has that affected? I don't want to ask too personal a question, but does that affect? Have you had to adapt the way you make your, like, I guess your vision isn't that big of an issue yet.
No, it's not, but I tell you where it really messes me is like when you're drawing from the model, you're
Yeah.
drawing from life.
Mm,
That's when it's
mhm.
worse, because it's really low light. And you have to have two different focus points, obviously your work and the model, which are very different. They're very far apart.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so that is, that was a tough one for me. But I mean, a lot of people deal with it. So
Sounds pretty similar.
I used to, I mean, until I was like mid-50s, I had like really good eyes. And then it kind of went away.
I have a permanent like floater in my eye that is just like a big black like spider looking thing. And it's from I went to go, it happened after a sparring session, and I went to go see an optometrist, and he was like, "You haven't been hit in the head recently, have you?" Like, no.
Why do
Yeah.
you ask?
No, why would you ask that? He's like, well, sometimes it's gonna happen if you get hit in the head, And then I was like, I don't know why I lied to you at first, but I have. Yeah.
That drawing was looking really nice, John.
Somebody mentioned their pastels not sticking or blending well on like a specific paper. Do you have advice for that, or
It depends on what kind of pastels and, how much material you're using too. I mean, if you're using like I can't even say it. Somebody say Sunillier. Yeah, Sunilliers, real soft pastels. You put a ton of material down fast, and you can get to the end of what you can do with them pretty quickly because they're so soft. But the harder pastels I use are new pastels, and I use fairly smooth paper, so it's kind of there's a real sensitivity to it, and I don't know, you just got to practice enough with them where you feel like you're using the right amount of material, but it's usually the amount of material that you're using that's causing that issue. Hope that helps.
Like the amount being too much.
Yeah. Again, you kind of run out of how much the paper will accept. And you're kind of left in this area of like, okay, I can't get them to do anything else because the paper won't accept any more pastel.
Got it.
Boy, the color on the ears that you got there, Cassandra, that's fantastic.
Oh, thanks. I'm loving some little Grogu time here.
I mean, you just got that nice light coming in on the ears and on the side. And you got there really quickly too, I think.
I feel like they made it easy with this character design because they played to all your things, you know, like the warm areas warming up the ears, giving you big eyes with lovely reflection to make it super cute.
Yeah.
I will say this, if anybody's on a Pedro Pascal kick, his Vanity Fair interview, have you seen it?
No.
They hook him
Oh,
up. to a lie-
yes.
They hook him up
So
to a,
funny.
they hook him up to a lie detector test. And I mean, like I've only listened to bits and pieces of it, but one of the questions they ask him is, do you believe you're a heartthrob? And he says no, and he fails the test. And then they ask him, do you ever look at Pedro Pascal fan pages on Instagram when you're feeling sad? And he's like, yeah, I do. And he gives out the name for the fan page that he goes and looks at.
It was so funny. And he was
Which-
like cry laughing.
Which question came first?
Oh, it was in that order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he becomes
It's like-
aware that he's not going to be
Yeah, yeah, I better not lie.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, then they're like,
actually-
who do you think is like more heartthrob, you or Paul Rudd? Like they were having him like compare. I thought that was funny.
That's hilarious.
he's very sweet. This artwork is looking awesome. by the
Oh,
way.
yay.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
You guys are all ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Ooh, my gosh.
It's pretty awesome work from last week too.
Who did that Grogu? That first Grogu? That's fantastic.
We'll get to it. Well, I'll look at it now while we wait. Mike.
Yay. Beautiful job.
That's awesome. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna start rolling. Wow,
Please
it's
do.
still populating. Awesome. Nice.
Oh, really good. Oh, I love that. Beautifully done.
Oh, cool. Not the prompt, but that's okay. Love it. I'm still drawing. John's
Ooh,
like,
really good
I
job.
spent all this time picking the prompts.
Get that off there.
Timmy, delete it.
Really nice.
Oh man, that's so
Oh,
fun.
adorable.
Oh my God, that's so cute. That's cool.
Oh, good job. Yes. I love this. You need to get a green pencil.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice sander. The
So
child.
is it not kosher to call it Baby Yoda?
Well, like a true fan would call it Grogu, not Baby Yoda, because it's not Baby Yoda.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Nice.
So sorry.
You know, when I
Nice,
was looking at,
Evan. And Jen, I really liked your last piece too.
but when I was looking it up, they called it Baby Yoda everywhere on the internet.
So the first season, they didn't tell you its name. It was just the child and everyone referenced it to Baby Yoda. And then you learned it was Grogu. And then from then on, it would just to be known only as Grogu.
Yeah, John, you were just in the Baby Yoda echo
Sorry,
chamber.
I'm like showing all my dorkdom for you. You're welcome.
Sandra, I
Really nice. Charlotte, beautiful, beautiful.
Well, I just want to let everybody know, John and I are so sorry.
Rebecca, beautiful job.
Yeah.
I think
That's a nice drawing.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh man, that's awesome.
Peter, lovely, lovely. You got the light in behind it, so beautiful too.
That's cool.
Nice,
Awesome.
great drawing.
Wow.
Good silhouette there.
Nice.
Oh, I love it, Jeff. Really
Love it.
nice. Beautiful,
Carmen.
Julian. Oh, that's really good.
Wow.
I really like how you drew her arm,
Oh my
especially.
gosh, that's awesome.
Andy, that. Oh, look at the detailing on that clasp there.
Very nice, Randy.
Great likeness.
Oh, that's so
Dang,
cool.
that's good. You got him perfect. Good. I'm glad you tagged him.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's really nice.
Gotta ride that Pedro Pascal.
Great job.
Nice.
Thanks, Nicole. Oh, I love that. So delicate. Really good. Yay. Love it.
It's a great one.
Really nice. Good likeness.
Oh,
I love you have them together. It's kind of like one of those 90s Sears photo like shoots. I love it.
Yeah, totally.
Papa cake.
Or like in the cognac bot. Have you seen that in the glass of wine?
Yeah.
Or something?
Totally. I love this. Good job, Erin.
Oh,
Wow, Felicity. Dang.
That's awesome.
Great
Nice,
job.
Felicity.
that's really amazing. She's got perspective in there too.
Just on your first day, when you get your first day at ILM, tell them where you drew Baby Yoda first.
Nice.
Really good job. You got so much done, Julian. Wow. You were fast.
Julian just finished a big project for
Movie.
yeah, for the FDR Center.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Great job.
Was that related to the Tuskegee
Yes.
project? Tuskegee.
Congratulations, Julian. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Nice drawing, Gary.
really nice.
Wow.
That's cool too.
I like on the last one, there was like a personalized bot to Star Wars. Oh, that's really cool. Good job.
That's amazing. Loving it.
Oh, good.
Sweet.
Always amazing how many he gets done. Really nice.
Cool.
Yes, I love it.
Oh, nice one.
Fantastic.
Nice design too with the moon there.
Oh, nice.
Mm,
Oh, that's cool.
great job. So cute.
It really is cute.
Don't get tired of seeing it. John may, but I won't.
Oh, that's cool.
I love it, Marcy. I love that the paper makes it look like its jacket is patterned. That's really cool.
Mhm. Oh, that's awesome.
Ooh, really nice, Emma.
Very nice.
Nice. Good job.
It's amazing.
So good. I knew it was gonna be awesome. Ooh, good job. Oh, that's so cute. Is that done with ink? Is that what you used? Ooh, Sally.
Hey,
Great
here's a
job.
joke. What is
Wow.
what is Pedro Pascal's favorite medium?
What?
New Pascals.
Oh,
Anytime. Anytime.
Thanks.
I was laughing. I was laughing.
I
I
don't
think
have
it's like
cricket
delayed
sound.
comedic jumps, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a cricket sound effect.
Oh, that's good.
oh, Karen, that's really nice.
That's nice.
Oh, awesome.
That's
love
cool.
those.
Very nice.
Love the shapes. Ooh, lovely.
Oh, that's.
Oh, wow. Great job.
Alberto Meyer, he's got a book out too recently.
Yeah, his book looks amazing. The children's book.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, that's very
That's
cool.
wonderful.
That's cool.
Grogu.
Mm.
Nice.
Nice ocean.
Oh, nice diversity.
Ooh, wow, that's really great.
A lot of good
love
stuff.
that.
Cool.
Nice.
That's cool, Leslie.
Oh, nice.
So good.
Feeling like a lot of people were like, no, it's Grogu. Picked the
Oh,
wrong
that's so
side
great.
on that fight.
That's a lovely drawing also.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Love it.
Good job.
Very nice.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Cool.
Oh, that's great. Really good. I'm always impressed with how much of the armor you all got.
Oh, cool.
Great job.
Nice drawing.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's good.
I love that.
So great.
Just to
Nice.
remind everybody, this is there's another week left of the early bird enrollment. So if you're considering a class, it's a good time to sign up with discount code ARTSY or ARTSY.
Oh, wow, Jeff, that's so good. Great job.
Nice.
Timmy, I agree with you on the discount code. That's February 7th, right?
What's that?
I mean, March 7th, correct?
14th.
14th, okay. Even better.
Remember, artsy fartsy, folks, artsy fartsy.
It might not work tonight.
That's a beautiful drawing. No, it's artsy. I'm just messing with Timmy. It's artsy, everybody.
That's really fun if you want to use it, but if you actually want to save money, use our.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's
I
so
love how
cool.
you spelled that.
Cute little drawing there. Oh, well done.
Oh,
Have it on a
that's
panel.
awesome.
Love that.
Beautifully done.
All right. Back to that's a good
Oh, that was a
one.
Nice one.
Everybody, thank you so much. What a fun night.
so
Cassandra,
fun.
no.
Thank you, everybody.
Raymond, thank you for drawing with us tonight. Everybody else, I really appreciate it. Hope you had fun. We'll see you next week. Don't miss Ray Monday night.
Yeah.
Woohoo, it'll be great.
See you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Jimmy.
Hey, you're the host, so I need you to.
Oh, I gotta end. Okay. There we go.